Yep.
Okay. It says like rules, contentions, all that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay.
The
Now,
old character sheet.
Oh, it's got the character sheet and everything.
Nice.
Hello. Okay.
One of the things we can do is to start off character creation for Technoir. One of the easy things is you'll see here on the actual Roll20 page, I've got essentially how things are done. Now, each character you're made up of verbs there on the side, and then you'll have certain adjectives that are permanently a part of you, which are essentially, these are the things that are true about your character all the time. And then as you get like equipment and other things, they will have some adjectives basically with it as well. You're all going to start off with 3 push dice. These are special dice that you have that essentially, anytime you do something to someone, you're trying to inflict an adjective on someone. So if you're wanting to break someone's arm, for example, or if you're wanting to scare someone, things along those lines, there's 3 different ways it happens. You can either make it fleeting, where they can basically just take an action to get rid of it, which in case it wouldn't be a broken arm, it might be
like a bruise or a stun or
something along those lines, where it'll give them a hurt dice for a short period of time, and action gets rid of it. If you spend a push die, the push die then comes over to me, and that push die, one of them will make it sticky, which means it essentially lasts for like the session. 2 of them will make it locked, which means it's permanent unless like major things are taken to replace it.
so that's how you do the broken leg, the broken arm. I mean,
Yeah, and that's also how you make like permanent changes in the world. And so those come back to me, which means to get them on you, you end up having to have adjectives sort of inflicted on you by the die rolls. So it's got the old sort of film noir, the hero kind of beats the crap out of the world a little bit, and then takes some shit and then gives it back. And it enforces that sort of a back and forth in the fiction, unless you were me at Fear the Con a couple years ago, where I could not roll a 6. Like I literally switched dice with every other player at the table. I kept rolling 6s. It was bad. I kept going. I'm like, the system is super cool. I would love to show it to you.
but I'm stuck with what I got.
Yeah, but it's not working. So to start with, each character, you basically have what this is called training programs, and the training programs are based just your background. So what happens is you can choose any of those training programs. You can pick one twice, but you'll pick a total of 3. So like bodyguard, courier, criminal, whatever those are, and you'll notice like each of your verbs has got one in it automatically. And if you decide to take bodyguard, you'll put an extra. You'll fill in one of the slots between Coax, fight, and on treat, and then in the top left of the adjectives, you'll choose either alert, patient, or protective.
Okay, so like
And-
down on your character sheet, you write in under what programs you've chosen.
Yep.
Okay, so how many do we pick?
You pick 3. You can choose the same one twice.
Okay.
Like it's so basically like things your character has done before we have gotten to here.
Okay. Okay. So should we do that now? Just start.
Yeah,
choosing?
if you've got some ideas of characters you're thinking of, we can talk a little bit about that. I'll also let you know the way the adventures and stuff work here, and this also goes very, very well with my particular style of GMing. Since I have a very, very heavy improvisational background, a lot of the types of games I run are sort of minimal prep because I don't have a story like set, because then I would get super bored with whatever's going to happen, because if I already know it, why are we playing the game? Or why am I playing it, at least?
Right.
Right. The neat thing that this one does
Sounds like my style as well.
yeah. The neat thing that this one does is it basically just kind of asks the GM to create this sort of a start of a conspiracy or a these plots that are going on. I'll randomly end up choosing 3 things from sort of a master table of all these people and like locations and events going on with in this area. And as you start to bring in like favors or you start to go with other NPCs, I start putting them onto this map, essentially. And so things like, then we figure out how these people are connected. So it ends up creating this sort of big knot of conspiracies, of weirdness, of how people are actually all sort of engaged together. So the character-wise, it's not starting off like, oh, this is what's going to happen. It is a discovery. Whoops. Wrong size of die. So I'll start a little bit of that now. So if you want to take your, if you want to go ahead and take what you're thinking about for characters, and just those first 3, and if we want, we can talk over a little bit if you have an idea of what you're thinking.
I chose investigator, engineer, and career. So then we just go in for each one of the verbs. We add a box, right? And next underneath the thing, right?
Yep.
Okay, engineer.
So I just pulled up the character sheet.
Yep.
I want to make under my name, and I feel like I'm missing something.
Okay, so
Because I
if
see
you
pieces of it,
there's
but
a little,
not like the whole character sheet.
no, there's a middle part of it. There's like 3 little things up at the top. One of them says character sheet on it.
Right, there's the bio, the character sheet. That's what I'm looking at right now.
Okay, so what you should see on there, let me bring mine up. It's got like your name is sort of at the top, and then it says handle, description, and then below that it's got a bunch of verbs.
Right.
Okay, so what you'll end up doing is when you choose the program, you're going to be filling out sort of dots in the verbs for each one, and there's a place to put the programs that you've chosen underneath the adjectives that are to the right of those verbs.
Okay, so because I can see the coax and detect and fight and hack and so forth. The empty boxes, is that where we put the... Oh, never mind, I see programs.
Yeah.
I see them.
So those empty boxes tend to be for, you'll have some things that are sort of inherent to the character, the adjectives you get for the training program. Other ones are going to be things like equipment, cyberware, other things like that will give you
and stuff to pick up during the game. And Okay. Yeah, I actually was going through the PDF and at work, and luckily I had a little bit of time the other day, so I actually took the liberty of kind of going through and figuring out what I wanted. So I picked investigator, soldier, and bodyguard. And then the funny thing is, the one good thing about customer service is that you get names, right? All the time. Today, I got the coolest name I've ever heard. I'm like, dude, you sound like you stepped right out of a Hollywood action picture. His name was Nick Stiletto. I'm like, no way.
That's awesome.
So needless to say, that's who I'm going to be. Nick Stiletto, finder of stuff and people. So kind of a, ex-cop, detective type of, very noirish.
Just trying to. I'm Nick Stiletto. Oh, you here to kill somebody? No, I'm. I just work the gas pumps.
Yeah, exactly.
You sound like you should be here to kill somebody. I work the gas pumps, man. That's all I do.
That's all I do.
Yeah. All I do is wash your windows, man. Leave me alone.
Like, I don't know anything about what you're talking about, but I am Nick Stiletto. You better watch your ass.
The funny thing would be getting picked up by a bunch of thugs and, like they're going to have a chat with you, so to speak, right? But, beat you up, torture you, and just because you sound like somebody they should be having to mess around with. You're like, dude, all they do is push papers.
Are you certain you're not a secret agent? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I have asthma.
You said your name was Bond. Everybody named Bond is a spy.
That's not technically true.
Right.
Perfect.
Let's see. How do you take
the Bonds and actors
of the dice, the roll boxes, like where it's shoot and prowl, operate, move? If you accidentally clicked one, how do you delete?
I think you click back on the same one.
Yeah, so if you wanted to get it back down to 1, you just click the first box.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it goes to wherever you click, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
there it goes.
That makes sense.
All right, so
I can't remember. One of them I accidentally... See, I picked investigator and engineer and courier, and investigator and engineer both have hack.
Which means you'll get that twice.
Right, so I should have 3 boxes filled with hack, right?
Correct.
And then one of them has move. 2 of them have move.
Mm-hmm.
I should have 3 of it, right? Yeah, 3 of those. Which one did I screw up?
You said you had, what was your investigator?
Investigator, engineer, and courier.
Okay. So it looks like you should have a fight of 1, move of 2.
That's...
prowl... Engineer and prowl of 3. Engineer, investigator, and courier.
Yeah, and prowl should be 4 because I think courier has prowl. Engineer. Oh no, that's the one I needed. Yep. Okay, prowl has 3 because investigator has prowl. Engineer does not. Okay, that was it. I had 1 extra one on prowl.
Yep. And then for each of those, you'll go ahead and there's that little adjective that it'll say, and when you put those over on the right-hand side, you'll choose 1 adjective, and you actually want to go ahead and click both of those boxes, because the boxes let us know if they are locked, if you have 2 of them, or if they're sticky where there's just 1, or if there's nothing, it's fleeting. Like if you throat chop somebody and you want them to just for a moment be winded, you don't have to spend a push die, and they're just like until they have a moment to like recover. If you want to make it a little more permanent, you can sticky it, and that person's going to have some breathing problems for a while.
So you can only pick 1 adjective for each one of those, like for Cokes.
hang on, guys, I got to go answer this call. I'll be right back.
Okay. So under Cokes, I have 2.
It's not for Cokes. It's just these are ones that apply to you.
Oh, okay. Because I was looking at like across from courier, fight, move, and prowl, and then the adjectives are agile, fast, or healthy.
Yeah, and so like if you take agile, it just means in general you are an agile person. If that helps, you're able to like what the adjectives let you do is you can spend. It lets you use push die on your roll, and then you can spend some of those to make things like locked.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, and that's when once you sort of use it, you're like, oh, that's how it works. That's easy.
Okay. Yeah. For each one of those, we pick 1 and put it in the box.
Mm-hmm. And then that one you can go ahead and click both of the. I think maybe just the bottom one. Yeah, click both of the little ones next to it. That'll just tell us.
Yeah.
That sucker's permanent on your character.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
And you can do that for all of them, or just for like?
Yeah, for each one, you end up grabbing a thing. I think Marcus was Google Hangouting on his phone.
Yep.
He done disappeared and screwed up the video a little bit.
Uh-oh.
He gone. Way to lock where people are at in Hangouts.
I think there might be. I think you can lock formats. I just have no idea how to do it.
Probably one of those things where there are options, but they sure as hell don't make it easy to find anything.
Yeah. I know Zoom lets you lock the
I haven't actually messed with Zoom at all yet.
Yeah, neither have I. I was just talking to a buddy of mine who does something similar, and that's the program they use. So
Yeah, something like a possibility because I've got the Saturday morning game, or Sunday morning game, which is the demon owner and the employees of a fantasy bar.
Hello?
Hello,
I think we lost you, Michael.
hello.
Yeah. He's like just frozen.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
stream just went down too.
Oh, there he's back.
Okay.
All right. Now, for the adjectives we've chosen, I've chosen 3: agile, operate, and prowl.
Okay.
Can I just click both boxes for each one of those, or do I have like a limit?
You put both boxes for both of them. However, you said what because prowl isn't going to be one of them. You said what were they again?
Agile, operate. Oh, not prowl. Sorry. Oh, that was stupid. Ooh, sexy, but that's for escort. Intuitive. And then you can just lock both boxes, or do
Yep,
you?
because the 3 you get from there are permanent for your character.
Okay. And then we get eventually earn other ones, or
There's certain ones that'll be kind of inflicted on you, or other people can kind of give you throughout.
okay,
Nice.
sweet action.
Yep. So I did a fun combo here.
What do you got?
I went with engineer and criminal to get some double hack, little cokes going, and then to round that out, I went with escort to get another cokes.
Sweet.
Nice.
So that worked out well. And
You're all like, hey, baby.
hey, baby. So I've got 3 in cokes and hack. So this is gonna be nice.
Sweet.
I will be good at those things and terrible at, for instance, fighting.
Do you need someone coaxed? Do you need a hack? Okay, I'll
I can get us in places. I just don't know what to do after that.
It's like me on dates.
Hey.
Hey. Ba-dum-bum.
Okay, the other thing, and we're waiting for Marcus to come back, is after that, on the transmission. So you've got, if you can kind of look through the transmission, it has just a bunch of stuff that are people, locations, things, events, factions, objects, stuff like that. But you start off with 3 connections. And connections are important for things like favors. You use connections for like getting cyberware spliced in, for getting money for loans, for getting favors, and that's one of the things when it says like favors, a date or a ride, deal or a fixer, armor, guns, weapons. Shark is loan shark,
Nice.
for example. So what you want to do is there are 6 connections. You will end up choosing 3.
And is that on our sheet too?
The connections.
Oh yeah, under connections. Yeah.
Yeah, the connections are that second tab.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we would pick of like anything on here. We can pick any of the people that are listed there.
Yeah, so there's 6 people: Adrian Chow, January Jade, Calico North, Duk Petrov, Pen Ray, and Arma Win.
And we pick 3 of those.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, okay, there we go. Technical difficulties. Called children, unfortunately. All right. Okay. So I got my 3 adjectives. I got all my verbs.
Okay. Yeah. So if you've got those at this point, there are in the transmission there are 6 connections that are in there, and what you do is go through and choose 3 of them, which are people that you know that you can get favors from. Some of the ones in there. Shark is to get loan some extra money. Splice is for make it cheaper to get cybernetics implanted. A lot of the rest of them, fence, date, ride, are fairly self-explanatory. A fixer, someone who can get you stuff. So you want to end up choosing from them.
Okay.
Okay, I've got my 3. You need to know who I've chosen?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
So where do we find the people?
On the transmission for the this will be for the Twin Cities Metroplex.
Okay. Well, where's the...
Well, I'm going to run to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. So... I love how it shows me all these sorcerers and stuff. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, so maybe this is the wrong place. Okay, so
Out of curiosity, Luis, have you picked your 3?
Connections?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who have you got?
I've got Doc Petrov for our surgeon needs.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian Chow. And Penn Ray.
Okay.
Or Ray.
you said that was in the Metroplex one?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. I'm back.
What I want? Yeah, there's okay.
And once you've chosen your 3, go ahead and let me know.
I got Penn Ray, January Jade, and Arma Win.
Okay.
And I went ahead and picked favors. Is that something we're supposed to do?
Not quite yet. Because the favors are things you can call them in for.
Right.
There will be some you use in the beginning of character creation.
Okay.
But that's more while getting equipment.
Okay.
So that's a space for favors that we've used, not that they have.
And there'll be some that are generally used, as I said, in character creation when you're like, cool, I need to get Cyberpunk, my decent chance you're going to want to get like a splice to get some more, or to get it in cheaper, or if you want to get extra money using the shark, stuff like that. So these ones don't tend to start like hugely cyberpunked up, so it's not like a Shadowrun thing where you're walking around with like shit ton of chrome.
Or like a lot of 2020 games have a tendency to get to be too.
I've wanted to do like a Cyberpunk 2020 that basically has no
couple
solos in
hours.
it.
It hasn't even started?
No. We're still setting up characters.
So under the connections, there's just the 3 of them.
There's 6 of them. It's 3, and then there's their information, their leads. Then on the next page.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, I see it now. Gotcha. Then there's the other 3.
Pick 3 from the 3
Imagine
available.
Right. That's what I was like. Wait a minute. Well, I guess we're all gonna have the same 3.
You're going, is this guy dumb? He's asking us to pick 3, but there's only 3.
It's like
a long dance trying to get.
No, I'm just wondering. Like, did I download the right one?
Yeah, it would be nice if those were together. Like, I kind of get why they're that way, but for what a GM needs, it'd almost be nicer if those are all on one page.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean,
you got the
from
physical
a player's,
book,
from a player standpoint,
That's what I was thinking.
The name, just even if it was just a list of names, and then you get into the character stuff.
Like it's good for here because having them that way for a GM is good, but the PDF not quite as helpful.
Yeah. It's one of those subtleties, or sometimes page order makes more sense for the book than the PDF.
Yeah, but then again, like trying
The
to
character creation had that problem big time because it was like you explain stuff, but then with my sort of pseudo ADHD, brain is like I'm looking at you're giving the instructions of how to go through this stuff, but at the bottom, oh look, there's this big shiny table I need to look at. So I'm starting to write stuff down. I'm like, anyway. Okay,
so when you've got your 3, we'll then be able to go on to the next bit. And then after that, then it's just a little bit of shopping, and then essentially we're pretty close to done.
Okay.
Where do we go? Do we go to objects or do we go to on the character sheet?
Well, you mean as far as
like on the character sheet after connections, there's an objects.
Oh well, first for the connections. Once everyone's got their 3, there's going to do a relationship adjective.
Okay.
That goes in there, and that's sort of towards the bottom of the towards the bottom of that Roll20 page I've got you on.
Okay.
So you end up going through, and each one chooses one for the each of the people.
Relationship adjectives, and there's looks like 9 choices.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nice.
Don't pick them out yet because we actually have to go around once everybody's got theirs.
Okay.
And choose them.
So.
All right, let's do this. Oh, that was dumb. Gave the last name of one character to the other one and left out the wrong. So suddenly, Calico North was suddenly Calico Jade.
Mm-hmm.
That's not right.
That's a
They
new
must be
person.
sisters.
It's my stage name.
Right, exactly. Now,
Perfect.
do we
About
do
half
the
the-
favors or
The what?
do we put their favors in or?
You actually, why don't you write the favors in because you'll it'll make it. You don't have to go back to the
Right.
transmission if you want to double check what they can actually offer you. So
Gotcha.
who have you chosen?
I picked January Jade, Arma Win, and Calico North.
Okay.
Not a whole lot of overlap, and I don't know if that's great.
See, I have 2 overlap. I have January Jade and Arma Win as well.
Yeah.
I intentionally didn't pick the surgeon because I figured we don't really need it, but then again, I also have treat as one of my verbs. So
All right.
sorry, when you're the wrong page. Okay.
There we go.
I'm just making a couple notes here.
So as a programmer, watching this thing fly is kind of fun too. Just like the interactive sheet component of it, making me happy.
About how all that stuff works.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate a lot of the games I like to play don't have sheets for them.
No, that's a shame.
Just because, or like with some of them, like you can set up a basic, like super janky, essentially text file in that bio information thing. I have some people like it's easy, just program it in. It's like you shut up. Not all of us know how to do that.
Yeah, no, that's
Just so quote unquote easy. If it was
easy once you know
easy,
how.
it would be done.
When I went to the Wii U and I picked up the Mario Maker, they're like, you can just do that if you get stuff online. Just put it together. I'm like, people don't talk to you very often, do they? You don't get invited to many parties, is my guess.
A lot of your conversations end with one of you walking away, doesn't it?
Yes.
Or rage quit, one of the two.
So now that we got your 3, we can just kind of go down the line, and each person chooses one of the relationship adjectives for their person, and as you choose them, they will then get crossed out. So we'll end up losing some as you go through, and this is to say that this is the relationship you have with that particular person.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have an order you want us to go on?
Right now I'm looking at the thing that's got Luis and then David and then Marcus. Probably easy just to go that way.
Okay.
Cool.
We'll
Okay.
do one at a time each, or
Yep.
Alrighty, let me shuffle around my windows real quick so I'm looking at the right stuff. Alrighty. So it's those 9, yeah?
Yep.
yeah.
There.
Well, if I'm remembering correctly, so I picked one of these because it made sense with one of the programs I'm in, because you're also a cybernetics engineer. So I was an engineer. So I was thinking maybe that's someone I knew from that. So to that end, I would say they are loyal. So that would be me and Penray with loyal.
Okay, so you and
So
Penray.
so loyal is gone.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, David, what do you want to choose?
I am going to go with dependent for Penray.
Okay.
All right.
Do you want to be? He's dependent on you, or you're dependent on him?
He's dependent on me.
Okay. All right, and Marcus.
All right. That's a good question. All right, I'm gonna do for which one? Where the heck is the other window? Oh, there's. Okay, so let's go with January, and I think I'm gonna pick where to? Yeah, talk about moving windows here. Okay, there we go. Let's go with trusting. Oh no, I'm sorry. Let's do that with Arma Win. Sorry.
All right.
You trusting.
All right.
And it will be they are trusting of me, not necessarily the other way around.
Okay, and Luis.
All right, so I was thinking with Doc Petrov and respectful. I will be respectful of Doc Petrov because I
You
will
guys
also
just picked all the ones I had looked at.
Hey.
Done.
We're going with all the nice ones first.
Could be worse.
Be obsessed.
Could be obsessed.
Okay, I'm going to pick for January Jade. I'm going to go with protective.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Got you on that one.
Marcus, you're next, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Calico North, being lustful of me, because what better way to get her to give me a ride than when we need it? And if she's got a thing for me, so.
Yep. So let me know when you're caught up, Michael. I'm sure you're filling up in.
I'm ready.
Sweet. So then my last connection is Adrian Chow, and I will choose affectionate.
You don't want to have an obsession with the heiress to the Siamese Syndicate?
I felt like that would get so complicated so fast. Like maybe in a fun way, but maybe not.
I can't imagine it go badly.
Yeah, no, she only has like all 3 of her objects are weapons.
I don't see how that.
Having her
I consider that a turn
really
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Okay. And David?
I'm going to go with obsessive for Arma Win.
All right. Which leaves, I think, January
sympathetic.
Jade.
Yep.
All right. So at this point, really the last thing we do before we get started. Give me a second for Luis to show up again. Was there in there like a little character creation book
In the
in that
Technoir Google Drive.
yeah, in that Google Drive thing? There should have been like a little character book.
Ooh.
I
Go
got the
back and look.
yeah.
If not,
What are we looking for? Sorry.
in that Google Drive, was there like a little character?
Where was the Google Drive? That part. How do I
Character.
find that?
Cheat sheet, player guide, protagonist sheet, and then there's a folder labeled old stuff.
Okay.
Player's guide.
Oh, player's guide. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I have.
Yeah.
That one open.
Yeah, so that player's guide, one of the nice things is towards the end of it, there is pretty much all of the items and stuff, like the things that you can pick up.
Oh yeah. That's a nice shopping list.
So you start off with 10 cred. You can buy objects from the catalog by paying whatever the listed cost is, and you write the objects and its tags. And the tags allow you to use push dice, which make you more effective when you do things. You can upgrade them if they've got possible upgrades. It's just 1 cred each. If you want to get something implanted, you can. It costs 5 creds to get stuff implanted. Connections with a shark, fix, chop, or splice can provide loans or discounts. And let me pull that up real quick. So with those, so essentially Splice lets you get the, and I'll actually type these up on the right next to it where it says purchase for Craig. Splice, you can get implants for free.
So, like for example, if I wanted to, let's just say, for example, I had specs, and I wanted to have those implanted, and I have, what is it? What did you say?
Someone with Splice?
Yeah, if I have splice or
What they can do then is they can actually, you can call in a favor, and as you call in favor, you're essentially saying, I want this person to be a little more important to what's going on. After, like, especially the second time they're pulled in, they become just a bit more important. And yeah, there we go. The favors are on page 6. So Shark will lend you 10 creds. Splice will let you implant for free. Fix can get you stuff discounted, but it adds stolen to what you've done. That's 3 objects discounted by 2 creds. Add a stolen tag. And I think beyond that, Chop is stolen vehicle at an 8 cred discount with stolen. So I put those right next to where it says purchase objects. Those are the favors that you're able to pull in character creation. And if you use those, let me know so I can make a note of it that those are the people that you've pulled in.
Very cool.
so we put the stuff that we're going to purchase under objects, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Is this the type of thing where, sorry, the those creds that we kind of start out with, obviously they're used for this shopping, but is that also sort of like in-game actual money, or is this just character creation kind of slots?
They can be considered some in-game money. The one thing to realize is generally in any sort of noir thing, you usually start off close to broke.
Right.
Though if you want to be like, we're going to keep all that stuff, I'm going to have a whole bunch of money to throw around, that's a possibility as well.
Yeah.
Basic things like you will consider you have like a couple things here and there, because creds itself, you'll notice, is a fairly large value of money, but you've got like some money for basic things.
Gotcha. So not the worst idea in the world to maybe have some extra creds. Like you don't want to necessarily max 10 out of 10.
Yeah, but then again, it also doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean so you're not screwed if you do it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you can always borrow, right?
Yep.
Just like in real life.
And you're not like, I've got all these cyber weapons. Would you like a burger? I can't afford a burger. I'm very hungry and I'm cold. I've got no place to sleep.
It's like we were at a convention one time and a guy bought a book. He spent a whole lot of money on the original Games Workshop, Chaos book. And so at one point we're all sitting around dinner and he's like, hey, can anybody loan me some money? And the guy's like, how much you spend on that? He's like, $40. He's like, can you eat it? And while it was harsh, he was dead right. So
I was at a wedding in New York, literally 2 days, or like not 2 days, like a week or 2 weeks after Hamilton opened on Broadway.
Oof.
And I was looking at the things. It would have been $400, and I didn't do it. And I am kicking myself every once in a while for not seeing it 2 weeks into its Broadway run.
Yeah.
Because I could have afforded it, but just barely.
All right.
So I'm sorry, I missed something. You said you added something to, was it in the Drive?
On the Roll20.
On the Roll20.
Yeah, where it's got like the purchase objects with creds, just to the right of that. I've made a note of like splice, shark, fix, and chop.
Hold on.
So if you scroll down to 6,
yeah, I see it. I see it.
It'll be just right next to that.
Yeah. This is one of those times where I wish it was in front of my actual computer. A little bit more screen real estate than this thing's got. Okay. And so the shark is if we call in that favor?
Yeah, if you need some extra money.
Right, got it. Okay.
Okay, so let me make sure I have this right price-wise. So far, I have a jumpsuit, a Kevlar vest, a cyber hand, a baton, a knife, and a stinger, and then that leaves me with 4 left because all of those I believe are 1 apiece. And then I was going to go with a head jack.
Okay.
And that would spend the rest of my money.
Okay, and then do you have someone with splice to implant that for you?
I do.
Okay, then that's what, Doc Petrov?
Who Pen Ray.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay? Does that work?
Yeah. Yep. I just made a note that you have brought in Pen Ray.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he'll go ahead and splice that in for free.
Sweet.
Nice. Oh, there's so many possibilities in this.
Compared to a lot of Cyberpunk games, not a lot.
Fair. Good point.
A lot of Cyberpunk games, like here's 7 books you can choose from.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should see my my library of Cyberpunk 2020 books because, well, some of that's because I actually wrote stuff for some of it. So
cool. You're in our 3rd week of character creation.
Chromebook 1, 2, and 3 all have stuff that I did. So
nice.
Though it's so neat, I look at some of the stuff that I wrote back then, and I'm like, oh my God, was I behind when it came to, technology? Like the Chromebook 3 has got all these cell phone mods that I did. I did those, and I'm like, those are like, wow, really? Really?
So now, did you say there was something we're supposed to write in the box next to like our object, like jumpsuit?
The tags that they have for it, you want to write those tags in.
So, like, for example, I'm grabbing a Barker,
mm-hmm.
and so the tag is loud and powerful, right?
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Good deal. I will do that then.
All right. What else do I want? I must be hungry because I saw the baton and I saw bacon. I'm like, what?
And as one of your objects, I'm taking bacon. It's 14
Yeah.
credits.
One of its things is distracting and yummy. Those are its tags. All right.
Five. You said the upgrades on those items are 1 cred each.
Mm-hmm. So if you want any extra tags, and the tags are things that will allow that it can do, and you can basically activate them. Use some stuff that like some push die that makes you a little more powerful.
Okay. So for instance, like the stinger, if you the gun upgrades of like implant and silencer would be like it's a gun that's a part of me.
Yep.
Well, even if you just had a like a pistol that was chipped so that only you could fire it.
Like that would be part of the implant, is what you're thinking?
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, that might be what Dermalink does.
Yeah, that's my thought. That way,
basically, so the Dermalink. So when you have like an implant or something, it's something that can basically connect to each other like through your skin. So a lot of those are used like if you've got like a cyber eye and a gun that are Dermalinked, then it means that just because you're holding it, you don't have to have like a thing on it. It kind of goes through your skin so that you can then link up to like a smart gun.
That makes sense.
All right, so I'm done. I picked all my stuff.
Can't spell apparently.
Then after that, it's just coming up with character name.
I got one.
Oh, it's always the hardest part for me. I'm terrible at names.
I don't have my. I should actually grab my iPad. When we do role playing games, I have it open in a name generator there for me at all times, just to pop it in.
I'm going with Ernesto Blanks.
Mr. Blanks.
And anybody else use a favor for any of the things you needed?
Yeah, I'm gonna be. Actually, let me math this real quick. I might not have to.
I'm ready to math.
Do I need extra money or not?
Yeah, basically, yeah. 5. And then 6, 7, 8. Yes, I would need the. Okay, so plan was to. One of my objects is a stinger with a couple upgrades on it. The implant and the silencer, like I'd mentioned. So for the implant part of it, to get that actually implanted, I would need to use the favor, right?
Yeah, for Splice, let you do that for free.
Splice, right? Yeah. Which I'll get old Doc Petrov to splice it into me.
Okay. All right. So Doc Petrov has been used. Penray has been used.
Yeah, at this point, I don't see any need for any of mine to be used. So.
All right. And when you come up with a character name, one thing I'll have you do on the Roll20 on the bar on the right, there is one that is a little gear that says My Settings, and in display name, you can if you put your character name there, it makes it easier for me to look across the bottom and call you by your character name.
There we go.
Wait, where is that again?
So where the journal is, that's got your character sheets. If you look
right hand, right hand side, top, there's a little gear icon, and where it says under My Settings, it says display name. It's got your name currently, so you'll change it from, Brian to whatever, David or whatever, whichever your name is appearing is showing up as. I don't know why I said Brian.
Oh, like down at the bottom?
Yep. It'll show it down there, so that way I can do the name thing. Like at home, I've actually got these little tents, these little plastic tents that you can use dry erase on.
Oh, cool.
Instead of David, it'll say Ernesto.
Yeah. Or you could also put it like in a parentheses. Like put your name there is also useful. So
Okay.
I know
Yeah,
who
that
y'all
would
are.
be
Like I
good,
put
yeah.
it in parentheses so I know who y'all are.
There we go. All right. So yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Okay. I think. Yeah, that worked.
Yep, there we go. And you said you wanted us. It'd be probably good to have our name there in parentheses as well, or is that
Yes.
something else?
So I'll be like, who is this person?
Right. Yeah. You won't just have all of this memorized instantly.
Oh hell, no, I'm so bad with names. I'll have students who I had last semester will show up. Mr. Matthews, I'll be like,
Uh,
I recognize you. If you put a gun to my head, I can't tell you what your name is. I had one girl. She was in the fall play. She was in the spring musical. I had her in 2 classes one semester, 1 class the next semester. Ran into her in Dallas and Company while I was getting stuff for Evil Dead the musical, and looked at her and she's like, "Mr. Matthews," and I, for the life of me, had no clue who she knew who she was, couldn't tell you her name.
Oh man.
I'm like, we
Oh.
spent a lot of time this year working together.
I should
Yeah.
know this.
Back when I lived in LA, I ran into a guy who I'd known since the 2nd grade. I was in an adult bookstore. He just like, "Hey," and he walks up to me, and I'm like, "I have no idea who you were, but I went to school with you for 10 years." So, it's a little awkward, but funny.
Awkward meeting you here.
Yes, dear.
Aha. That is how that works. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta go help pull a pizza out of an oven. I'll be right back.
Okay. And actually, I'll probably grab I'll refill my drink, get myself some whiskey, and then I think once we get back, we'll be able to sort of introduce characters and then start.
Dope.
Sound cool?
Yeah.
Be
Take a little
right
break.
Cool.
All right. I'll be
Well,
back.
that's exactly the same time.
Okay. So, my weapon, I have a barker, a knife, a Kevlar vest, and a baton. Pretty sure I did the math on that right. 2, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so it's like 6 or 7.
Can I use the normal place for it?
Chicken.
Jello.
Hello.
That's fine. Jesus.
I forgot it was Friday until like a minute ago, and now I'm kind of mad at myself for forgetting it was Friday.
Why'd you forget? Or how'd you
I feel like I
forget?
disrespected Friday.
Disrespected Friday. Wow.
I'm a teacher. That's impossible.
I imagine so.
I live for Fridays because then I'm away from the students.
I have no study hall on Fridays. It's great.
Nice.
I have to do tech support for security cameras. So it's like no more customers.
All
2
right.
days.
So we've got Caden Smith, Nick Stiletto, and David B.
Oh, did it not show up?
No, I think you.
You have to save your name.
Oh yeah, that's right. You gotta hit the thing for it.
Oh, where's that?
It's on the gear, right underneath display name. There'll be a little thing that says save name,
Oh, got it.
which is more of a pain than it needs to be.
Seems like.
Hopefully did that work?
Ernesto.
Yes.
All right. So if you want to go through and have each of you just introduce who your
David,
person
you
is,
did
and
it
then we'll talk
backwards
about
from the rest of us.
then we'll talk about how y'all know each other and start the game.
Very nice. I'll jump in.
All right.
All right. So name's Caden Smith. He's a former cybertech engineer who fell into part times. He got replaced. I figure the job was tasked out to the ever encouraging advances of technology, and I was no longer required. So I instead moved into a business that, although there are some replacements for the automation, there will never be a replacement for the warm, fleshy body of an escort.
I think you have not paid attention to how technology is going. Fred.
More, there will always be taste for both, is what I figure. Although you can argue that you can pretty much always create a better engineer, preference comes into play in certain things. Or at least that's what happened in my head when I thought about it.
You're like, I forgot how people are.
Wait, people are terrible. Never
But
mind.
some people are not like that.
Right.
All right.
I'll go next if you'd like. I, as a young man, started off my first real job in the big city was a courier. Made some connections there, and it was a courier for a group of engineers. And I turns out just kind of hanging out and talking with them, I had a knack for it, and eventually started with small projects and worked my way up into becoming an engineer. I know it was a roundabout way to do it, and then after really experiencing that, decided that I noticed a lot of corruption in that industry and decided to start investigating. There you go. And kind of trying to figure out where this is coming from.
Okay.
All right. Nick Stiletto is I was a cop for a while, and I accidentally came across something that was a little hinky. But the powers that be didn't like the fact that I discovered this little hinky thing, and somehow I suddenly end up with all of these corruption charges and whatnot, and I get kicked off the force. So you do what you got to do, stay alive. I use my cop skills to try to start looking around into things and end up falling into the fact of, there's not a whole lot of money in busting a conspiracy. So finding things for other people and finding people who are missing and kind of do the whole private detective thing for a while. And, you stay, keep your head low, and then maybe if you're lucky, you'll find the real whatever's going on.
So, any idea how you three know each other?
Well, the two of us who know Arma Win, it's probably a good idea we ran into each other at the pawn shop.
And maybe Caden was one of the. You say you were an engineer, right?
Yeah, used to be.
I think you may have been one of the engineers who took me under your wing.
Yeah, I can see that. Absolutely.
Now,
Out of that, he was wanting some of his crap to make some money.
Yeah. Constantly finding stuff that I can take to the pawn shop. So
yeah.
I do have Arma Win in my thing. So I would say that would be a possible connection for Marcus.
So then to that end, because in the character descriptions, Pen Ray is a cybernetics engineer as well. So maybe do we ever decide he, she on Pen? I don't see that anywhere. I feel like it doesn't matter. We just probably for consistency's sake.
have a preference? We'll say she.
She.
Okay.
Make a note so that I know. But I'm wondering if maybe she wasn't also part of this group of engineers, and maybe whereas Ernesto and I kind of broke off to do other things afterwards, she stuck with it and is working on this, whatever the classified project ends up being.
Okay.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
Okay. So the three of you have gotten to know each other, and we'll say it would be much easier to start that you have been friends. Is there what kind of a gathering do the three of you have from time to time where you'll hang out? Are you playing cards? Are you doing other things? Just having drinks?
I don't know. I was thinking something along the lines of maybe do we all have upgrades and just kind of like playing with our implants and stuff? Like, hey, I found this cool thing you can do, and I don't know. I was just throwing that out there.
Unless I am fleshy.
I have an implant, but I get the feeling it's one of those, as it is a implanted silenced gun. It's one of those things that you don't know I have until I need it.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind that.
Show it off.
But no, that's
then
fair.
People know I have.
That's something you accidentally run into in the bathroom, I'm assuming.
I stretched wrong and killed the person next to me. Damn it.
We haven't been allowed to go back to that movie theater since.
Well, what about then we're just drinking buddies? How about that?
So drinks work well because we've got investigator two investigators. Am I?
Yep.
Yep.
So you guys will maybe kind of talk shop and maybe give each other a hand every once in a while. And me as a previous engineer, and when I was thinking, at least currently, as a primary way of making money, though I don't imagine it makes much money, is to use that escort background. So I would know people, if nothing else. And I imagine that being useful to two investigators.
Right. Always useful to have people who know stuff. So.
Yeah.
Or people who know people.
So the nice thing about a couple of you having been investigators and sort of know what to look for, it's when someone comes into the bar that you're drinking at who is looking for someone, particularly if they're not very subtle, you are aware of what that looks like. And the three of you are at a back booth drinking and sort of chatting. Do you go a higher class place, lower class place? Just a neighborhood bar?
Well, from what I could tell from the background, there is not a whole lot of in the middle. There's at the top and at the bottom. So it doesn't seem like any of us are at the top. So.
Yeah, probably a dive.
Yeah.
Someplace fairly divey comes to mind.
Agreed.
Rough people come through this area, a decent amount. There's some of them in there that are playing pool and such. You see, and you'll recognize at least the patch that they're wearing. Two members of the Bleeding Razors, sort of a local cycle gang. They're coming in, and one of them sort of looking around, kind of a Weasley-looking dude, just sort of checking. You're pretty positive you can kind of catch a bit of a bulge at his side. And the other one, who's a good deal bigger, just goes up to the bartender, and as you're sort of talking, you see the bartender's eyes sort of flash your direction real quick before coming back. To him, he doesn't seem like he's the brightest. You don't know if he's actually caught that quick look. And you're actually not entirely sure the bartender did it on purpose. It's an old sort of, if someone's in the room and you're asking about him, if you mention it, they'll it's very hard for people not to take a quick glance, particularly if they're worried for someone or think something might happen.
Yeah.
But these guys don't seem maybe quite as up on the take. You hear him talking. From across, not a lot's coming through. There's enough background noise that when he's leaning forward and speaking, you're not really hearing what he's saying.
So, anybody need a refill? I'm going to go up to the bar and get a refill.
Yeah, give me a whiskey.
fingers.
Sure. So I'm going to go up near so I can still kind of hear. I'm going to play it off like I'm a little bit more inebriated than I might be.
Okay. So one of them, as you're sort of coming up towards the bar, the kind of little Weasley guy goes, hey, Wellesley. This is one of them. You can kind of see the cyber eye, and there's a second you can see reflected, in the silver of the eye. You see like a dim reflection of your own photo on there.
So they're looking for me.
He goes, you Ernesto?
What's it to you?
Bigger guy kind of steps forward. We're looking for a friend of yours.
I don't have any friends, but sure, give it a shot.
Eyes kind of narrow a bit. Looking for Penray.
Penray. His name's familiar. Drawing a blank on the face.
We asked around. We saw some files. We know that you're friends with Penn. We need to find her. We need to find her fast.
I haven't seen Penn since... it's been almost probably 8 months.
8 months. Kind of looks over it.
I say, if we could, assuming a little bit of time has passed, maybe I could follow him up to the bar for real quick.
Okay.
Walk up to Ernesto, be like, "Hey, man, that drink? Are you making it yourself?" And turn and see he's talking. Oh, well, how are you?
Yeah, kind
From where I'm sitting at the table, I'm going to keep an eye on, kind of tactically speaking, because our guys are kind of flanking these guys here at the bar, right? At this point,
yeah.
Is that what you did? Okay. You said the little guy was fairly obviously packing.
Yep.
What about the big dude?
The bigger guy, if he's got something with him, it looks like he's actually maybe hiding it a bit more. He also looks like the kind of person where muscle is a much bigger thing. You wouldn't be you would be shocked almost if he wasn't, but he's not openly. He's not making it something where someone can tell pretty easily that he's got.
I mean, as a biker gang, I expect them to be carrying something, at least even if it's just a knife or a truncheon of some sort. But I would just more, is he really obvious about it, or is he just kind of he's using his size to intimidate people?
He uses his size to intimidate people. The other guy, you think, is just he's got it in a way that it's sort of lazily put in. He's not trying to hide it if authorities or something come by. Probably not so much of a choice as just kind of maybe a bit of a moron.
I want to keep an eye and see if there's any other look like they've got backup somewhere, just in case.
Okay. So between Ernesto and Caden, who's going to be the bigger of the two?
I would not be a large person. I would be a small. I was smart and then decided to try being pretty instead. Neither of those make me bulky and large.
However, the delicate voice would be hilarious coming out of a very big man.
On the other hand, that's a good point.
They're like, hello!
You're like, what?
Well, I guess then I'm the bigger of the two of us. I'm average.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So at that point, Wellesley kind of pulls himself up and looking sort of straight in the eye. You can tell his size has helped him quite a bit in the past, but it's going to be in this case sort of his coax going against yours, because he's trying to put an intimidated adjective on you. What is your coax?
Coax is agile.
No. What's the
two? I have two.
Okay.
2 die.
So right now you have three push dice, and I don't know if yours will let you put the push dice in, because sometimes it matters what browser you opened it in, and the one I opened it in does not let me actually put in the push die. But you start off with 3 each. I have 0. So at this point, he is going to roll his coax. His coax, as you'll see here in a moment, not too high. Oh, and also, so I have no push dice to spend on that. 1. Now, what was your coax again? Here,
2.
To the Technoir page, so the page will load up a little bit, and I've got a basic thing up at the top. So yeah, not enough to actually put the adjective on you. It would only be a fleeting. He's only trying to intimidate you. And he goes, "Word has it, you're someone who might know where Pen is, and if you don't, we might be able to send a message through you."
I don't know if it's my drink talking or not, but that sounds painful.
Yeah, it would be.
No, not for me, but whoever, would choose to operate like that. And I wink at him.
Okay, and that sounds to me